Hello, 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 hello. Welcome everyone. It's your boy, Mr. Degenerates, back at it again for another motherfucking video. Ooh wee, my little degenerates. It's that time of the year again. It's time for the goddamn Game Awards show. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't even know why we're calling it the Game Awards show this year, because we all know this is gonna be the God of Rings Awards, where the two titans, God of War and Elden Ring, are gonna go at it. But I guess it's still a good thing to have the Game Awards. I remember back in the day, the Game Awards show was fucking horrible. I don't know if anybody remember the Spike VGA Awards. Holy shit, it was fucking horrible. But you know, over the times it's gotten better, and I'm glad that Jeff Killian has been able to turn it into something more designed for gamers and developers, to not only just get excited for what all these developers have been worked up for this year, all their achievements and hard work they put in throughout the year, but also the future of some of the company. I'm really looking forward to this because, again, like I said, this is like the Oscars. This is like the Grammys for video games. This is a really important time for companies to get to celebrate, these developers to get to celebrate what they've accomplished. So I already kind of did this video already, but it was way too long. So we're gonna zoom past a lot of this shit. Because we already kind of know this is going to be the God of War and Elden Ring show. But I just want to say, if you feel offended or you feel like this game didn't deserve this award or whatever, that's the beauty of this award show. It doesn't have to be your game of the year. Make your own game of the year and talk about it. Share your opinion on social media and make your own video on what was the game that impacted you. For me personally, I have a few games that impacted me, but I will not talk about it until February of next year. So yeah, I just want everyone to remember, don't take this Game Award show so serious to the point where it's like people's like throwing tantrum. For me, I'm just excited for new upcoming releases, but also the celebration of some of these games. So for me, this is nothing. So for this video, we're gonna do predictions, and we're gonna zoom past a lot of the predictions because I already have an idea of who's gonna win or what I would like. So these are the nominees. Take a look, and we're gonna start from the top all the way from the bottom. I will be skipping the esports stuff and some content creators because I don't really care. I care about games. I don't give a fuck about influencers and esports shit like that. But let's just get straight to it. So first things first, game of the year. Let's just Plague Tale, Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray. And the MVP of the whole shit, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Special shout outs to Monolith for making it on this list. I think it's a very wonderful thing that they've made it. As someone who's literally played all the Xenoblade games this year, it was very cool and very nice to get to see this franchise get a moment to be on top of the heavy hitters this year. So I'm very proud of that. But if we had to choose one, I'm gonna have to choose Elden Ring. Simply put it, because while I think God of War is a phenomenal game from so far from what I've played, I put 20 hours in. God of War is the quintessential how to do a sequel. In fact, I don't even know why Horizon Forbidden West is. Horizon Forbidden West is it's the definition of how not to do a sequel, in my humble opinion. This game God of War Ragnarok is how to fucking do a sequel. This is, to me, the God of War 2 of the God of War reboot. This is, I would say, what's the sequel that is better? This is the Spider-Man 2 of God of War. This is, think of any sequel, great sequel, this is the sequel to that. And it improves on so many facets of aspects of the first game, from story to gameplay. I love the combat in this game, the music, the accessibility option, everything about this game is amazing so far for what I played. However, Elden Ring, despite my issues with the third part of the game, the repeated enemy, I cannot take away the experience of just the freedom of choice, the freedom of just going through this big open world, well designed, might I add, and just exploring it at your own leisure, finding things at your own leisure, uncovering the world at your own leisure. And the game never punishes you. That's the crucial thing. That's the one major thing I've said in my video. The freedom of expression is that the game never punishes you. The game constantly rewards you. I can't stress this enough of why Elden Ring is an amazing game despite all of its problems. That's the aspect that I take away from it. It's that it is truly a game of discovery and freedom. And not a lot of games allows you to do that. A lot of games kind of like restrict the player. This game never restricts you. This game is like, do whatever the fuck you want. It's like Miyazaki and the team is like, do whatever the fuck you want, figure it out, have fun. And I love that about this game. So I would choose Elden Ring as game of the year. Not my personal game of the year, but I would choose it as a game of the year. I think that's going to win game of the year. Best game direction. Now, I think of best game direction, however, if we're going to go by these three. I mean, we're going to go by this list. Immortality, I've never heard of it, but I've heard a lot of people say this. Stray is a cool game. I played a little bit of it. It's really adorable and cute. Horizon, again, some of the decisions it's made, I'm not a huge fan of. Elden Ring or God of War, I would give it to God of War. I think God of War, in terms of direction, so far from what I played, has been very more stronger than Elden Ring, only because it is very tight. I think the game, so far from what I played, 20 hours in, the game is constantly throwing new things. It is constantly opening up new areas and new things to explore and get. Most importantly, I just think that in terms of narrative, I think it's just a little bit more tighter. Everything is very methodically more tighter than I think Elden Ring is. Elden Ring, I think, falls apart when you get to the third part. I don't know about the third part of God of War, but I really enjoyed a lot of what this game is doing. I think it deserves best game direction. It's very focused. It is such an improvement over the first game. Like, everything's just so much more tighter than what it is in the previous game. So I gotta give it to God of War. Best narrative. This one is gonna be a picky one because I want to give it to Elden Ring because Elden Ring has the most unique storytelling. But I also think Plague Tale's story, from what I've gathered a little bit, has been pretty interesting. And I think Horizon Forbidden West, lore-wise, is very impressive. I think if you can make an argument that Horizon and Elden Ring has the most coolest lore of their respective story. And I know that's been a contentious of Twitter, is that you can't say that Elden Ring has a story when there's not a true line narrative focus, when there is a narrative focus. And one of the things I love about Elden Ring is that it is a simple, like, hey, go to this place and claim yourself as the king and the ruler of this land. But if you actually take the moment to examine the little details and the little things in the narrative, the story is amazing. Like, the moments in the story is actually amazing. Certain boss battles hit harder. Certain NPCs, quest lines hit harder when you understand where the lore and where they're coming from. It's very vague, but I always think it's vague on purpose. And that's a very unique way of telling stories that I don't think a lot of gamers are used to. They're used to like cinematics, cutscenes type of thing. Elden Ring is like, put your own narrative on your own head. Like, you figure out your own narrative. You make your own narrative by what we give you in the game, by item descriptions. I also think in terms of like, you know, in terms of like world, I think this game nails it. God of War has it too, but not on the level of Elden Ring. So if you had to ask me, it's gonna win. I think it would be Elden Ring. However, I would give it to God of War. And I know I just said it had the most uniqueness, but I'm talking about in terms of a franchise, in terms of what this has to say about Kratos and Atreus. This game is absolutely phenomenal. I think the whole father and son dynamic in here is so well told. I think the idea that Atreus is becoming his own man and he's going to make his own decisions as a teenager and he's trying to find his place in the world as a teenager, is very compelling. And given that Kratos has done a lot of horrible things in his life, he is constantly trying to warn Atreus of his actions and why his actions is not a good thing. At the core of the story, from what I gathered of Ragnarok, it really is a theme of a father preparing his son, trying to guide his son through puberty, basically. And you might say that's fucking lame, that's stupid, but for Kratos to go through that journey, along with Atreus, when Kratos talks to Atreus in this game so far, from what I've seen, there's this sense of like, son, I just want you to be okay. I just want you to be fine, because I'm not gonna be around forever. There's gonna come a point where I'm gonna go, and I need to know that you're okay and that you understand that I truly love you. That's powerful. I'm not even done with the story, but it's so beautiful. So beautiful. It also helps that it has great voice acting. So I would honestly say Elden Ring is the most unique, but I would give it to Ragnarok. Best art direction. Now, you would be surprised. You would think Elden Ring or God of War I would give it to, but I honestly would give it to Scorn. Scorn, I would say, deserves best art direction, because that's literally all this fucking game got going for it, is the art direction, taking influence from the art design of kind of like Prometheus, that Prometheus art design. If anybody's ever watched Prometheus or Aliens, that art design, I think it's fantastic. And to be created in a video game in a world that's kind of like desolate and kind of creepy, and it's almost like in order to progress you kind of have to harm yourself. Like, something about the design of this game is beautiful, creepily beautiful. So I gotta give this game plenty of props, but again, I can't say the rest of the game is amazing, but in terms of art direction, I think this was really good. It really sets the mood of this game. Forbidden West has a very cool, nice art direction as well. So it's between these two. But I would give it to Scorn. I think Scorn is a really good one. I think Forbidden West, as you go further into the games, for what I've seen, the art style gets really amazing and more detailed and whatnot. So it is cool, but I gotta give it up to Scorn. Scorn is just like, wow, beautiful. Because that's the only thing it's got going for it. Best music, best score. I would honestly give best music and best score. I know a lot of people's gonna say Elden Ring, and I would agree. I think Elden Ring deserves it, because Elden Ring's score is just like fucking epic. And I love God of War as well. I love the chants instrumental, and it just sounds fucking dope as fuck, especially when you're in combat. But I gotta give it to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, even though I didn't play it enough. Based off the previous works of the Xenoblade games, the music is so good. Like, I don't know if anybody's played the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 1. The music for that is fucking beautiful. What almost makes me want to lick my asshole. But it's so fucking good. So fucking good. So I know Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has some great music, but if I had to choose, if I didn't have to choose this one, if this wasn't going to be my one, I would say Elden Ring deserves it. And I think Elden Ring, because the music when the boss battle hits, that final boss battle music, when you to the first phase of the final boss, oh my goodness, when the fucking main title screen comes, but this time is with a chant, it's fucking wow, beautiful. Best audio design easily. As someone who has now gotten into cars due to having his driver's license, and as someone who has literally has a father who is a huge car nut, I would have to give it to Gran Turismo 7. Just the way how those cars sound in the game, it sounds fucking amazing, and it's actually kind of cool. I'm actually kind of impressed. So, for me, I would have to give it to Gran Turismo 7. I really, despite my issues with the game, I really love the sound design of this game, the audio design of this game. But I would also give it to God of War, because thanks to the accessibility options, the audio design, and when enemies attack, the impact of moves and weapons just sounds so fucking good in this game. I would say Elden Ring is kind of weak in terms of audio design, but that's just me. Best performance, I'm sorry. Again, bias here, whatever. Kratos voice actor, I'm sorry, he's killing it throughout the whole game. I haven't even beaten it, but there's one scene with Freya, where he's talking to Freya about her son, and that scene, the way how he delivered that line, I was like, okay, this motherfucker's DG. But also, I want to shout outs to Atreus voice actor. He's killing it in the game too, but Kratos is that motherfucking G. Games for impact, I don't know any of these games. My friend has probably played them. I'm just gonna pick as Dust Falls, only because I feel it's an Xbox game studio. I guess they hushed up the money for it, so you know we got to give Xbox at least one credit. Best ongoing game. These are the usual suspects. I see everybody talks about these games, but I'm gonna give it to Final Fantasy, only because a lot of people always talks about how great that game is and how great it's going. So it is what it is. I can't say Destiny because people complain about Destiny. So no. Best indie game, I think Cult of the Lamb might win it. These are all terrific games, and I played 3 of these, like Neo White, Stray, and Sifu. I think all these are amazing, and me personally, I would pick Sifu. Sifu is my personal favorite, one of my favorite games of the year, and I think it really prepared me for what I was going to face in Elden Ring. And I will go into more of that when I do my own game of the year, but I really love Sifu. Sifu was the shit. But if I had to choose, I think Cult of the Lamb is going to get it, simply the fact that the game, for what I've seen, just looks cute and creepy at the same time. And I really appreciate I think the game looks kind of cool. But I really like Neon White too. That game has a very unique way of gameplay, so either one would do, but we'll see. But I gotta choose Cult of the Lamb. Best mobile game, don't give a fuck about this, but I'm gonna say Genshin Impact, most likely. Best community support, no brainer, I think is gonna be either between Fortnite and Final Fantasy. I would, or No Man's Sky, because I heard nothing but. Actually, it's either between Final Fantasy or No Man's Sky. I'm gonna choose. Again, I gotta give it to Final Fantasy. I just heard nothing but great things, and like people are constantly talking, and the developers are constantly responding to fans' criticisms and whatnot, and they're on the ball just as much as No Man's Sky. So either one would win, I would be satisfied. But I gotta give it up. Actually, you know what? I'll give it up to No Man's Sky. I changed my mind. I think No Man's Sky might win it, only because these guys work their ass off. And given the fact that they've literally shit the bed really hard, they've made up the bed and made it into a fucking Fleora and all this shit, bro. The motherfuckers been like on the fucking work. All right, it is what it is. Best accessibility option for a video game. Obviously, I'm gonna say Last of Us Part 1. I know a lot of people's gonna roll their fucking eyes because everybody hates Naughty Dog. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of Naughty Dog. I don't particularly care for how they handle some of their games and how they've handled the companies over the year. But one thing I'll never deny Naughty Dog is their attention to details in games, and I would never deny them the fact that these are a talented bunch of motherfuckers. They're Naughty Dog for a reason. They're PlayStation's best studio in my humble opinion, and it's the fucking reason why, because of the accessibility option. And for me, someone who has accessibility and is dyslexic, to see that they catered so much for people like me is impressive. And in Last of Us Part 1, they did something really fucking cool, which is that they allow you to have the game be narrated by somebody, and that to me is fucking beautiful. And I just appreciate that shit so much. So much. Best VR games. I don't really care for VR that much, although I do think VR is cool. I played VR this year. I don't think it's that amazing. Among Us. I'll give it to Among Us. Best action game, automatically Bayonetta. Sorry Sifu, I'm sorry Neon White, and I'm sorry Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As much as I disagree with Bayonetta 3, even though I haven't played it, but I don't like the fact that Bayonetta 3 is stuck on the Switch, and I wish, not that it was ported to other systems, but I wish it was on the PC. I wish Nintendo would be more inclined to put some of their, at least third-party games on PC. Fuck me, man. This game, no. This game is, from what I've seen from the combat, is looking pretty impressive. It just being held back by a weak console. But if it's platinum, I know the gameplay is fucking gonna be good. Best action game, I ain't even gotta look at this shit. God of War is gonna win. We all know this. We all know this. The only problem I would say God of War has in terms of an action game is how it handles puzzle solving. But traversal is fine. I think traversal, even though traversal is weaker than Horizon Forbidden West, and I think Plague Tale is better, I will argue that God of War combat design and navigation is really good, and I really like the puzzles. Although this game has one annoying fucking thing about it, is that the game tells you the puzzles before you can do it, and it's like, come on, guys, like, that's fucking annoying. Best role playing game. All these games are cool. I know my friends have talked multiple times about Triangle Strategy, Xenoblade Chronicles. I would honestly give it to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. However, I think Elden Ring's gonna win only because of how well that game does customization and freedom of expression in terms of like building your own character and whatnot. Like you can literally be a demigod in this fucking game with barely even trying, and I like that a lot. Best fighting game. Now, this is a very controversial stuff, so bear with me as I go into a rant with this one. Do you see any weird shit in this lineup? Okay, I think we all know the weird part is Sifu. Why the fuck is Sifu in a fighting game? It's not a fighting game. Sifu is an action adventure game. It's an action adventure or an action game. I would consider it an action game. That should be in an action game category. Why the fuck is it in a fighting game? There's no player versus player PvP. There's none of that. It's just you versus a bunch of AI. So this does not consider to me a fighting game. Now, if this was Azov, I could probably understand why they put it, but this is not Azov. Even though it's from the same developer as Azov, this is not. This is a single player beat 'em up game. That's it. So it doesn't deserve to be here. As for the rest of the list, here's what I'll say about this. I think this is the worst list, only because there wasn't a lot of great fighting games that came out this year. I don't think this list is that great. However, I will say this. As much as I would give it to DNF, because I personally enjoyed DNF, but DNF, I recognize, is not a good fighting game because it's not being supportive. One of the biggest things about a fighting game, in my humble opinion, is that if developers seems like they don't give a fuck about their game, fans are not going to give a fuck about their game. And the simple fact that they're not supporting it, have done anything towards it, I don't think I give a fuck about it. So it is what it is. Why should I care about a game that doesn't care about itself? Anyway, JoJo is a re-release. I don't consider this shit. King of Fighters 2 Versus are the only two that deserve to be on this list. And if I had to be honest, I would give it to KOF. Despite KOF not having gameplay variety, and despite it not being a game for me, I recognize that its combat system and the amount of support the game is getting is really amazing. And so these are, to me, I'm very proud of it. Best family game, fuck you Kirby, fuck you Lego, fuck you Mario, fuck you Switch Sports. Splatoon is it. If you want to hate on Splatoon, you're welcome to, but you can eat that ass. So, what else? Best sim / strategy. We're gonna say Doom, Space War. I'm just playing. I gotta give it up to Mario. Blast the Rabbits, Spark of Hope. Even though I'm just like, can we please get a Rayman game? I understand a lot of people like this, and a lot of people said this game was great, so I'll take their word for it. So I'll choose this one, but everyone else can fuck off. Best sports game. I think Grand Theft Auto. I think Grand Theft Auto can win it. However, I would give it to. Roly World, because it is such a fun fucking game. It is such a kooky, fun little game. I really enjoyed this game. So I would give it to that, but I think Gran Turismo 7 is gonna win. But also, I heard a lot of good things about this year 2K, so who knows? But I would give it to Gran Turismo. I would give it to Ollie World. Best multiplayer game. Get the fuck out of here, Call of Duty's gonna win because it's Call of Duty. But I would say get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, Overwatch. Splatoon 3 is that shit. Is the shit, so don't fuck with me. Content creator of the year. I don't know any of these except nigga. I said nigga. Oh, my bad. Nibblebellion. I would give it to him only because he was really holding it down for content creators. He was really holding it down in terms of giving us information on Twitter. He really changed the game in terms of information collecting, just sharing it out on Twitter. I really enjoyed his content, although I wouldn't consider him a content creator. I really would not consider him a content creator if I'm really fucking being honest. And I think a lot of the content creator is that he never had a YouTube channel, or at least to my knowledge, he didn't have a YouTube channel that really talked about gaming news. Like, I think what he should have did, if he really wanted to continue his content creation, is have the content, do the Twitter stuff, have that be your main shit. But then after that, every Friday or Saturday, do a recap of what happened in the week, and then give your opinion on it. I think that's what he should have did. That would have definitely broke the mold of usual people do. Usually, a lot of content creators will just get the news and just give their opinions and make. He should have been like what Skill Up does, and does a week of news and then talk about it. I think that's what made him great. But I do appreciate him a lot, and I appreciate what he added to the gaming space. So I think he deserves it out of all of them. I don't know any of the rest of these motherfuckers, but he deserved it a lot. Best indie dub. It's between Stray or Neon White. I would give it to Stray, to be honest. Although I heard Vampire Savior is really dope. Survivors, I should say, is really dope. But Stray, I'm gonna just say Stray. I really enjoy Stray. Stray is so cute. I didn't beat it, but it's so cute. I feel like that's my line this year. I ain't beat games. I ain't beat a lot of games, but it is really. Best adaptation. Okay, so this is what made my video like extremely long, because I went on a whole rant about fucking Arcane and Cyberpunk. So I'm not gonna repeat some of the shit I said on the video originally, but I will say, if we're gonna talk about these two, because these two to me are the best. All these are good, except Uncharted. Uncharted can fuck off. All these are good, but let's be fucking real. Let's pull out our cocks and suck each other off, right? It's between these two, and I would have to say, if it wasn't for the fact that Cyberpunk came out with a buggy launch and a really horrible launch, this would have been a beautiful companion piece to the game. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I remember after finishing this, because I watched it with one of my homegirls. I watched it, and I finished it. I was like, this is fucking beautiful. This is a really dope anime. I was like, this is amazing. Like, this encapsulates the the beauty and the horrors of Night City so perfectly. I don't know what to say. Like it is amazing on what it captures. And it made me really say I cannot wait to get back into Cyberpunk. But then I look at Arcane, and I look at Arcane. It took a franchise I gave no shits about. I don't give a fuck about League of Legends, and made me actually care about League of Legends. Like the simple fact that they did that shit by introducing these characters, giving them stories that a lot of people said is nothing like the actual game. Like actually giving these characters really good backstory and good conflicts with one another. It was so good that I can't help but smile at this. Also, it has the coolest fucking opening. Everybody wants to be my enemy. like it is so fucking good, and I have to praise it a lot. And I think the main thing that to me what caught my attention of the show was the art style. It has one of my favorite things about art. It has a very, which I think the word I'm looking for is very like concept art type art style. Like if you ever look at a video game like concept art, this is what it like creates. Like this show recreates that so good. And I think the story and the characters and the world it created, and you could tell like there's more out there that we haven't even explored in Arcane. There's a whole big universe out there that we haven't even explored. It's hinted at slowly, but but you don't see it. You're only spending time with these characters, and that, this game, almost made me a League of Legends fan. That's why I'm looking forward to the League of Legends fighting game. Like I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to consuming more League of Legends. Just as much as I'm looking forward to playing Cyberpunk 2077 when it eventually gets fucking fixed, which I've heard it's gotten better, but I want that DLC and the Game of the Year edition to come out. But overall, if I had to choose one, I would give it to League of Legends. That was just an amazing game. I mean, amazing accomplishment. Like, and I think also the thing I love about it so much is that you don't have to be a League of Legends fan to appreciate this shit. Like you really don't. You really don't. And I think that's beautiful. The same thing goes for Cyberpunk. See, these two adaptations are so good. And I think that's a testament, but I gotta give it up to League to Arcane a little bit more. Most anticipated game. I think everyone's excited for Legend of Zelda. I gotta be honest, I don't really give a fuck about Legend of Zelda. This is a Legend of Zelda game that's coming out. I don't really care. I wasn't a huge fan of the last Zelda game. I know that's blasphemy. I know a lot of people love that game, but I just didn't. I didn't care for it. It wasn't a game for me. But you know what game I'm looking forward to? Even though I know this Legend of Zelda is going to take it, Resident Evil 4. Like, Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. It inspired so many developers, including one of my favorite horror games, Dead Space, the game developers, and everybody literally said they took inspiration from Resident Evil 4. So to have Resident Evil 4 come back, reimagined in this way, and it looks creepy, it looks haunting, but it also retains the core elements of Resident Evil 4, which was an action survival horror game. I think I'm looking forward to it, and I think this might address a lot of people's complaints about Resident Evil 4, the original Resident Evil 4, not being scary. I think this might have finally addressed that. And besides, you can parry a fucking chainsaw, alright? If that's not cool, I don't know what is, man. Best esports, I don't give a fuck about any of this, but hello, League of Legends. don't care about esport athletes, don't care about esports team, don't care about esports coach, don't care about esports events except Evo. Evo deserves this because Evo this year was fucking phenomenal. We came back and we got netcode for everybody. Everybody got netcode. For me, this was such a hype ass shit. The simple fact that we had when we was playing Fighter Z and motherfuckers had to stop the game. Somebody picked Cell, stopped the game and was like, no. We gotta not skip the intro. We haven't heard this shit in a long time. We was in Corona and everything. We survived pandemic, everything. We had to do it. Nah, gotta show it. And then everybody erupted and had fun. Oh my god! Like Evo this year was such an amazing year. I enjoyed it phenomenally. Like I was watching so much content. Man, like this was my favorite year of Evo. This had to have been my favorite year of Evo. So yeah, I think Evo is best event, but I know it's not gonna win. I think these other ones are gonna win, but it is what it is. Overall, those are my picks. Those are my predictions. We will figure out if I'm right on any of these. I think I'm going to be wrong. But it doesn't matter. That's the whole fun of this video, is just to talk about it. Next week, give it some time, I will be doing a breakdown or kind of like a recap of what they showed and the predictions of games the game trailers they shown. I know they're not gonna show what I really want, which is the next Mortal Kombat announcement. I know that they're not gonna do that, so I'm not even tripping balls. It is what it is. I don't really care, but that's why I didn't do it. So overall, I just want to say this. I said it again at the beginning of this video, and I'll say it again. I just want to make sure everybody know that just because no matter what game wins, just remember that this reward show is not for us. This reward show is for the developers, for the hardworking men and women who worked on this field, to show them how much their contribution to the video game landscape is appreciated and valued. And I really want to preference that and say that. I really want people to get that through their head, because I understand a lot of people want their personal game to win a particular war. And if you feel that way, by all means, make your own game award show. I will be doing that starting next year. Top 5 favorite games of this 2022. I'm looking forward to doing that. I just have a few games I need to beat before doing that. So, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, please comment, rate, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We got more videos ahead. Again, we will be coming back to this next week when we see the Game Award show, and we'll be talking about a lot of this stuff. Until next time, guys, stay safe and pray to God everything goes well for the Game Award shows, because a lot of y'all motherfuckers are going to go ham. See you later, everyone.